Echoes of the Alps. Marina stood on the platform of Kiev railway station, carefully holding her suitcase on wheels. The morning sun was just breaking through the clouds, scattering warm rays across the wet tiles. The air smelled of freshness and coffee from the small cafes at the station. She took a deep breath, trying to feel every moment before the beginning of her great journey. This summer, she had finally decided to fulfill her long-standing dream, to see Switzerland. "Marina, you should check your tickets once more," she heard her mother's voice on the phone. "Do not worry, Mom. Everything is fine. I have already checked twice," Marina replied, smiling although her heart was beating a little faster. Her suitcase was filled with light clothing for walks, a few dresses, a camera, and a notebook in which she always recorded her travel impressions. She placed it beside her and approached the ticket window to check the schedule. The train to Zurich was departing in 3 hours, and she still had time to enjoy her first morning coffee on the platform. Sitting at a small table, she ordered a cappuccino and a croissant, watching people who hurried, exchanged hugs, and said their goodbyes. A light anxiety mixed with excitement awakened in her heart. It was her first train abroad, and everything seemed so vast and at the same time enchanting. When the train finally arrived, Marina felt a wave of excitement. A huge, shiny, modern train with large panoramic windows stood on the platform, waiting for passengers. She carefully climbed the steps, and the conductor, smiling, showed her seat in the first-class carriage. The seat was spacious, upholstered with soft fabric, with a small table next to it and a panoramic window through which one could admire the scenery. "Here is your seat," the conductor said. "I wish you a pleasant journey." "Thank you," Marina replied, feeling slightly shy. As the train moved, she rested her head on the headrest and gazed at the changing landscape. At first, it was the familiar fields, rivers, and small villages of Ukraine. Every bridge, every turn of the road seemed like a small adventure. After a few hours, the scenery began to change. Mountains wrapped in morning mist, dense forests, and crystal-clear rivers that glittered in the sun appeared. "This is incredible," Marina whispered to herself, taking out her notebook and beginning to make notes. A young man in a shirt and jeans approached her compartment. He was holding a small backpack and looked as if he were traveling for the first time as well. "Hello, is this seat taken?" he asked with a warm smile. "Yes, please sit," Marina replied, blushing slightly. He sat down and introduced himself. "I am Alexander, nice to meet you." "Marina," he extended her hand, feeling a pleasant wave of acquaintance. The train glided through green valleys, and they talked about everything: travels, books, cooking, and how beautiful the nature of Switzerland was. Marina was impressed by how easily she had found a common language with a stranger and felt that this trip could become unforgettable. "Have you long dreamed of coming here?" Alexander asked, glancing at her notebook. "For many years," she replied. "I have always wanted to see the mountains, lakes, and old towns." "And you?" "The same," he replied. "My grandmother once showed me photos of Geneva and Lucerne, and I always dreamed of seeing it myself." They laughed and shared their expectations for future adventures. The train traveled through picturesque tunnels, valleys, and mountain passes. Behind every window, a new beauty unfolded. Streams glistening in the sun, snowy peaks rising high into the sky, and small villages with red roofs located near lakes. "Look, that little bridge over the river," Marina suddenly exclaimed, pointing into the distance. "Wow," Alexander agreed. "It feels like we are in another reality." After several hours of travel, they made a short stop in one of the Swiss towns. Marina and Alexander stepped onto the platform, inhaling the cool, clean air. The air was fresh, filled with the scents of flowers and freshly cut grass, and around them the quiet murmur of streams could be heard. They walked down a small street to a cafe where they ordered chocolate and fresh croissants. "This feels so real," Marina said, looking at the snow-capped peaks outside the window. "Yes, and it seems to me that we are exactly where we are supposed to be," Alexander replied. Their conversation shifted from admiration of nature to planning the route. Marina opened the map, showing trails for hiking in the mountains, small towns by the lakes, and museums of old castles. "I think we should start with Lucerne. There are very beautiful old buildings and the legendary bridge over the river." "Great idea," Alexander agreed. "And maybe we will even find some small secret places that tourists rarely visit." After the break, they returned to the train, continuing their journey. Outside the window, the mountain landscape unfolded again, and Marina felt her heart fill with excitement. Every detail, from the smell of fresh air to the sound of the train gliding along the rails, seemed part of a great adventure. "Have you decided that this will be just one trip, or do you plan to stay longer?" Alexander asked. "I want to see as much as possible," she replied, smiling. "I want to feel every moment, every day." The train moved further, and Marina noticed the sun beginning to set behind the mountain peaks. The sky acquired shades of pink and orange, and the water in the lakes reflected it, creating a magical atmosphere. She took out her camera and began taking pictures, trying to capture this moment. "You take good photographs," Alexander said, looking at the screen of her camera. "Thank you," Marina replied. "I want to have memories that I can look at again and again." They sat side by side, sharing memories and dreams. Every hour on the train seemed magical, and the acquaintance with a new friend added the feeling that this journey would become unforgettable. Marina felt that Switzerland had already begun to reveal its secrets to her. The beauty of nature, the tranquility of small towns, and the friendliness of the people she met along the way.